Hi, my name is Dr. Kevin Mao, physical therapist, and with me today is my wife Tui.
Hi.
And together we own and operate Balance and Body Restoration Physical Therapy Massage, which is a clinic located in the East Bay of California in a town called Dublin. Now, at our clinic, one of the most common problems that we see almost every single day is chronic lower back pain. And this is usually due to a couple of different reasons. Either the person is someone who is maybe working in tech, sitting at their desk and working over a computer for up to 8 or up to 10 or up to 12 to 14 hours a day, and their body is just starting to feel the negative effects of that as their lifestyle, which means their posture is starting to suffer, their hips are starting to get really tight, or the backs are starting to get really sore and achy just because of the impact that sitting has on their backs, and it's starting to catch up to them over time. And we also see people who are starting to get a little bit older and just maybe haven't been as physically active as they would have liked to have been over the past couple of years. And their bodies are starting to notice the effect of that in the form of just weak muscles or tight joints, or just the overall little bit of loss of mobility over time is just starting to create just chronic lower back pain and stiffness. And these are obviously things that people want to avoid. And core strengthening exercises is one of the most common pieces of advice that people are given to try to heal their backs and try to give their backs better support and just be able to allow them to be more physically active with just stronger muscles and just a stronger body. However, a lot of people are just hesitant to jump right into doing a bunch of core exercises for a couple of different reasons. Either they just aren't sure what exercises to do and they don't want to risk doing anything that can make their pain worse, or they're not sure exactly how to do the exercises with the proper form or proper technique. That could cause problems elsewhere if they're not doing the exercise correctly. Or maybe they've had a negative experience with exercise in the past where they've tried to do some form of exercise and either it caused pain or they just didn't really feel it was effective enough, and they just kind of gave up on doing exercise even though it was the right decision all along. However, in this video, what I want to share with you are our 3 favorite core exercises that we give to our patients that are very, very safe to do on the back. They're very simple and very easy to do, but also, when done correctly, are highly effective at helping just stimulate your body, at helping activate all your core muscles, and help you develop just really solid strength in a way that's going to just help you reconnect your brain to different parts of your muscles that you just may not have activated in quite some time. So with that said, let's get right into the first video. Okay, so the first exercise we want to show you today is an exercise called the bird dog. Now, the bird dog is one of the most common and one of the most popular exercises that's prescribed to patients in almost every physical therapy clinic around the world. It's just that when I encounter people who've been taught this exercise in the past, I just feel they haven't been taught the finer elements in terms of form or technique, which just leaves a lot on the table in terms of you getting as much value as you possibly can out of this exercise. So I would say that the most common mistake that I see people make when they do this exercise, go and demonstrate, is they're just kind of going through the motions and not really focusing on what their backs or what their bodies are actually doing. So again, this is an exercise where Twee is going to be lifting her opposite arm and opposite leg. But again, as you can see here, what's happening is her back is arching a lot. Her hips are not as level as they could be. And again, she's just not really focusing on what her body is actually doing. So go and reset, Twee. So how we approach this exercise, instead of just kind of lifting your arm or lifting your leg without any real purpose, what we want to make sure that what you do is to make sure that you try to eliminate and limit any movement occurring through the back while also trying to keep your hips as level as possible. And you also want to make sure that you do this exercise as slowly and as controlled as possible. And what you will feel is just a lot more activation and a lot more stimulation of the core muscles within your trunk and within your back as well. Go and demonstrate Tweet a couple times. So as you can see here, the difference with this form is that she's going way slower, she's going way more controlled, and there's a lot less movement occurring through her back, and there's a lot less movement occurring through her hips. So go and demonstrate a couple more times, Tweet. And what she's doing here is she's activating this principle known as core stability. Go and demonstrate on the other side. And core stability means that she's just focusing on trying to not allow any movement occur through her back and really teaching her muscles on how to create stability within her spine to just counteract any unnecessary movement or unnecessary stress through her body. So the reason why, go and demonstrate on the other side again a couple times. And the reason why this exercise is so safe on the back is since the back is not moving, it's almost impossible for any unnecessary or any harmful stress to accumulate on her back. And she's also teaching her muscles on how to create that, again, very important stability, which is going to teach her trunk and core muscles on how to protect the back while also doing the exercise at the same time. So let's demonstrate one more time, Tweet. So again, as you can see here, her hips are staying level, her back is staying very still. And when you do this exercise correctly for the first couple times, you actually might start to feel your core muscles shaking. You might start to feel your trunk muscles just quivering. And that's a good sign that you are activating the right muscles as long as the back isn't hurting at all. So that's it for the first core exercise for today called the bird dog. Now let's show you our second exercise known as the dead bug. The second exercise we want to show you today is an exercise known as the dead bug. And this is my personal favorite exercise to teach people because I just feel that it is highly effective at just activating all the right muscles very, very quickly. Also, again, being very, very safe and very, feels really good on the spine. So we go and demonstrate. So the starting position is just to lift your knees and your arms up into a 90-90 position through here. If you just kind of imagine a bug that's kind of laying on his back with his arms and leg in the air, that's where the name of the exercise comes from. And the most important about this exercise and what really makes this exercise activate is to make sure that you are keeping your spine and your back completely flat and flush on the floor here. So if I were to try to kind of squeeze my hand through here, there should be no room for my fingers to kind of squeeze through her body here. And I would say that the most common error that people make when they're doing exercise like this is, again, just not really paying close attention to what their backs or what their bodies are actually doing. So sometimes we'll start to see their backs lifting, we'll start to see their backs arching, and that just means that they're not really fully activating all of their core stabilizers as much as they could be. So what all you need to do for this exercise is to, again, start by just kind of flattening your spine into the floor as tightly as you can. And what that's going to do is almost going to automatically start to turn on all of the stabilizer muscles within her core, within her abdomen through here. And then from there, once you've got your back flush, go and slowly lower your left arm and right leg, and make sure you emphasize making sure that there's no movement occurring through the arm and leg that are not moving. And hold for a couple seconds and slowly pull the arm and leg back up, and go and demonstrate on the other side. And again, it's more important that you focus on making sure this arm and this leg that are not moving are staying completely stationary. Because since this is a stability exercise, we care more about eliminating and limiting any movement occurring through the back and through the trunk. Go and demonstrate a couple more times. And that's what's going to really help you activate all of those core stabilizer muscles. Okay, hold it there and pull it back up. And what makes this exercise very safe on the back is, again, we're teaching you how to create stability through your trunk, which means that your back is not moving. And if your back is not moving, there's going to be no harmful or no unnecessary stress going through your back, and it's almost impossible for your back to start to hurt so long as your back is staying flat and so long as the muscles are staying activated. Let's show it one more time, Tweet. So again, she's doing a really good job of doing it very slow, very controlled. And you can really, if you can't see in the video, her core is really starting to shake. This is a very challenging exercise, going to bring the arm and leg back up. And a lot of my patients say really good things about this exercise just because of how quickly it's able to activate all the right muscles. It feels really challenging on the core, and again, usually feels really, really safe and really easy on the back. So that's it for the second exercise known as the dead bug. So let's get into the last exercise for today. Okay, so the last exercise we want to show you today is an exercise known as the plank. Now, the plank is a very common exercise that I think a lot of people are familiar with. If you ever were taught this exercise in like high school gym class, or if you ever worked with a trainer, or even have engaged in any like boot camp classes before, that this is an exercise that I think a lot of people are generally familiar with. It's just that a lot of people that we work with, I feel, just have not been instructed in the proper elements in terms of form and technique, which could lead to problems, in terms of creating worse problems on your back or just not really being as effective as it could be. However, when this exercise is done with the proper form and best technique, I think is one of the most effective ways at quickly being able to strengthen your core while also being very, very safe to do on your back. So Twee, go and demonstrate. So what Twee's going to do here is she's going to be on her elbows and she's going to lift her hips in the air to a point where her hips and her back and her shoulders are in one nice kind of straight line through here, almost like a wooden plank would be. And what Twee's doing a really good job is she's also squeezing her glutes and intentionally engaging her core muscles. Go ahead and rest real quick, Twee. And what she's doing is just generating a ton of core strength and core stability just by creating a lot more just intentional activation of her muscles. And what Twee did here, again, she did a really good job of it, is to make sure that she was not allowing any movement to occur through her back or any movement occur through her spine. So Twee, go and demonstrate one more time. So I'm just going to have her demonstrate one more time where the most important about this part about this exercise, which will really start to help it activate, is just by squeezing your glutes. By squeezing your glutes, you will start to take out the effect of your hip flexors and also just help engage and start to activate all of the right core stabilizer muscles. In 3, 2, 1, come back down. And what we also want to do is we don't want to make sure that you're not holding the exercise for too long. All we're looking for in this case is just a simple 10 to 15 second hold. A lot of people are taught this exercise to hold it up to 30 seconds or hold it up to a minute, which can be completely fine if you're doing it with the proper form and proper technique. However, for a lot of patients that we see, going to demonstrate that incorrectly now, a lot of people that we see is that they're just not, again, they're not engaging their backs, not engaging the core, which means their backs are starting to arch or their hips are starting to go up a little bit too high up in the air, and they're just not getting as much as they could out of this exercise. So go ahead and rest again. So we're just going to show you one more variation to do to how to do this exercise, because this exercise can be done either on your elbows. Going to demonstrate on your hands now, Twee. But it could also be done on your hands in like a push-up position. Again, the most important part about this exercise is to make sure that your hips are up, go up a little bit higher, are in line with your back and with your shoulders through here. Make sure that your back is not sagging or arching at all, and then just squeeze those glute muscles, and then make little fists or make a little crunch your fingertips into the floor, and just do like a little mini crunch of your abdomen through here. And what you should feel is just a lot of shivering, a lot of quivering, and what that means is you are really activating all the right core stabilizer muscles. So hold it for 3, 2, 1, and go ahead and rest. While also, again, making sure that you are limiting any movement occurring through your back. And just again, to emphasize, if your back is staying still, if there's no motion through your back, and if you're just able to maintain what's called that neutral spine, which means your back is pretty much flat and not moving at all, it's almost impossible for your back to start to hurt. Go and demonstrate one more time, Twee, incorrectly. So, but again, if you start to notice your back is sagging, if you aren't able to maintain proper posture, or if your hips are a little bit up, a little bit too high, those are some of the things that could, again, just kind of take away from the exercise and could potentially cause problems that you want to avoid. So go and rest, Twee. So that's it for our 3 core exercise demonstration. Again, just to recap, just emphasize to make sure that your back is staying still. Try to limit any movement occurring through your back, and that was what will ensure that your back will stay safe. And just try to activate your muscles. Try to squeeze those muscles as hard as you can, and that will in turn start to increase the level of activation that you get through your core and just increase the overall effectiveness of the exercise. So again, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. I hope that it helps, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care and have a wonderful day.